Hello, this video is my feed forward video for Jake on his developing a learner's mindset. So, Jake, I hope that you find some interesting points from my feed forward, and thank you for posting this. So, first of all, let's establish what I thought was great with your plan. The first couple things that I really enjoyed with your plan is the introduction and the goal section. First of all, the introduction section allows your students to know what is your background, what are your credentials, and why they should pay attention to you. I think this is always a good place for teachers to start, especially when dealing with adult learners. The next thing that I really enjoyed was that you had two sections talking about what is this course, what is this section of the course about, what are basically the course outcomes, and why are the course outcomes relevant to the students. So in this one, you're talking about how this is how this is to help the students develop feed forward attitude, and it's really great that you establish why is this necessary and like how the course is designed to help them establish that feed forward attitude or and ability to accept and give feedback properly. Now, going over the rest of your plan, I really like each of your lessons, and I'm glad that you had 3 lessons, because I think that that each 3 lesson was quite nicely detailed. It's both all 3 of them are easy to implement. They are generic and applicable to pretty much any teacher, if any course. And I thought that was a great way. And each of them do provide a chance for students to learn how to give and receive feedback and how they can practice doing it as well. Now, some of the areas that I thought could do some more work is, first of all, this assignment was to go over the fixed mindset, growth mindset, and learner's mindset. And there was no mention of that in your presentation. While you talk about giving feedback, you did not really link how feedback is related to the fixed mindset, growth mindset, and the learner's mindset. And so I feel like you probably needed at least one section talking about how learning how to give and receive feedback has a relation with developing a learner's mindset. Second is that going over your tasks, you did not really mention how you would incorporate the tasks. So now I know part of it is you didn't want to give too much detail with regards to your course schedule, etc. However, it would be nice for you to mention when would you recommend having these tasks. For example, do you recommend having it at the start of your course, at the end of your course, somewhere in the middle of your course? Do you recommend the tasks to be done in sequence, like lesson 1, 2, or 3, or for them to be done as a mix? It's while it's always great to allow teach students and other instructors freedom, it's also good to provide some guidelines, and then the teachers can then adjust the guidelines as necessary. Now, this one specifically caught my eye. You mentioned, in a safe and low risk environment, practice receiving negative feedback. One point that I thought could be improved in your document is that you did not really emphasize how to create the safe and low risk environment. So I think your document could use with having a section talking about what are the ways to establish a safe and low risk environment. What exactly does it mean for students to have a safe and low risk environment? I think especially since this is about receiving and giving negative feedback, it'd be great if you create a model of what you would think is a safe and low risk environment. Now, the last point I want to mention is that while I really like all of your tasks, I felt like all of your tasks were very verbal centered and face to face centered. We all know nowadays that not all classes are face to face. Some classes are online, some classes are asynchronous. And so I would have loved to see some options on how to give feed forward outside of like a face to face scenario. Like, for example, what if you are doing this course online? How would you teach giving and receiving feedback with online students, for example? So I would have loved to hear more about like other ways to give feedback. And so I think that is another way you could improve your document. Thank you for listening to my thoughts. I hope you found some of them interesting, and best of luck going forward.